The Afghan sun beat down mercilessly on forward operating base Salerno as Staff Sergeant Marcus Wright wiped the dust from his face. It was his 8th month into a 12-month deployment, and the days had started blending together. Patrol, briefing, sleep, repeat. But October 15th would be different. October 15th would be the day his entire world collapsed with a single notification on his phone. If you're watching this story and can relate to tales of betrayal and resilience, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you real stories about real people facing extraordinary challenges. Marcus had just finished a grueling 6-hour patrol through the Paktika province. His unit had been searching for supply routes used by insurgents, and the tension never let up. Every shadow could hide danger. Every pile of rocks could conceal an IED. At 34 years old, Marcus had learned to compartmentalize fear, to push thoughts of home into a secure corner of his mind until he had the luxury of safety. Back at base, he grabbed a lukewarm bottle of water and headed to the communications tent. Mail call was the highlight of any soldier's week. Letters from home, care packages, photos of kids. These small connections to the world beyond the wire kept everyone sane. His phone, kept locked in his footlocker per protocol, showed 47 unread messages. Marcus smiled, thinking his wife Jennifer had probably sent updates about their 2 kids, Emma, age 7, and Tyler, age 5, maybe photos of Emma's soccer game or Tyler's kindergarten art project. He opened his email. The subject line made his stomach drop. "We need to talk. Important." Marcus's hands trembled as he opened the message. The words seemed to blur together at first, his brain refusing to process what his eyes were seeing. "Marcus, I can't do this anymore. I've filed for divorce. The papers are being sent to your command. I've moved out of the house and taken the kids to my mother's in Phoenix. I've also withdrawn half of our joint savings, 47,000 €, which is legally mine. I've closed our joint credit cards and opened new accounts in my name only. I know the timing isn't ideal, but I can't keep pretending. I've met someone else. His name is Derek, and he's been there for me in ways you haven't been for years. The kids barely know you anymore, Marcus. You chose the army over us. Don't try to contact me directly. All communication should go through my attorney, Patricia Hernandez, at Hernandez and Associates in Phoenix. Jennifer, comment below what city you're watching from and whether you've ever experienced a betrayal that came completely out of nowhere. Your stories help others feel less alone. Marcus read the email 3 times, then 4, then 5. His best friend, Corporal James Jimmy Rodriguez, found him 20 minutes later, still staring at his phone in the communications tent. "Yo, right, we got chow in 10... Jimmy stopped mid-sentence. He'd seen that look before, the 1,000-yard stare that had nothing to do with combat. "Marcus, brother, what's wrong?" Marcus handed him the phone without a word. Jimmy read the email, his jaw tightening with each line. "Jesus Christ, man, I'm so sorry." "She emptied our account, Jimmy." Marcus's voice was hollow. "That was our emergency fund. Money for the kids' college. Money we saved for 7 years. She just took it. Can she do that legally?" "Apparently." Marcus ran his hands through his sweat-soaked hair. "It was a joint account. Legally. She had every right to half, but she took half of everything, the savings. She closed the credit cards. She's already moved to another state with my kids. If this story is pulling at your heartstrings, hit that like button and subscribe. We need 10,000 subscribers to keep bringing you powerful true-life stories like this one. Over the next 3 days, Marcus learned the full extent of the destruction. Jennifer had indeed filed for divorce in Arizona, a state with more favorable custody laws for mothers. She'd retained an aggressive attorney known for maximizing spousal support from military members. She'd moved into her mother's 4-bedroom house in Scottsdale, enrolling the kids in new schools without consulting him. The Derek mentioned in the email turned out to be Derek Paulson, a 38-year-old regional sales manager for a pharmaceutical company. According to mutual friends Marcus contacted back home, Jennifer and Derek had been seeing each other for at least 5 months, possibly longer. Marcus's commanding officer, Captain Rebecca Mills, called him into her office on day 4. "Sergeant Wright, I've received correspondence from a law firm in Arizona regarding your personal situation." Captain Mills was a no-nonsense officer from Houston, Texas, known for being fair but demanding. She'd served 3 combat tours herself and understood the unique pressures on military families. "I'm aware of the situation, ma'am," Marcus said stiffly. "I'm going to be straight with you, Sergeant. This is going to be complicated. Your soon-to-be ex-wife, has filed in Arizona, where you're not a resident. You're deployed overseas. You have limited ability to respond or participate in proceedings. And Arizona law heavily favors the custodial parent, which she's establishing by moving there with the children. So I'm screwed." "I didn't say that." Captain Mills leaned forward. "But you need to lawyer up immediately. The Army provides legal assistance, but for something this complex, you need a civilian attorney who specializes in military divorce. Someone who understands the Service Members Civil Relief Act and can protect your rights while you're deployed." Drop a comment if you think the legal system is fair to deployed service members, or if it needs serious reform. We want to hear your perspective. Marcus took her advice. Within a week, he'd retained Thomas Brennan, a veteran divorce attorney in Tucson who specialized in military cases. The retainer alone cost $5 alone, money Marcus had to borrow from his parents in Cleveland. The first phone consultation with Brennan was brutal. "Mr. Wright, I'm going to be honest with you. Your wife's attorney is very good at what she does. They've positioned this strategically. By filing in Arizona and establishing residency there with the children, they've created a strong presumption of custody. By withdrawing the money before filing, not after, she's technically within her legal rights, though it certainly demonstrates planning." "What about my rights?" Marcus's voice cracked. "I'm serving my country. I'm in a combat zone. I can't just fly home to fight this." "That's where the Service Members Civil Relief Act helps you," Brennan explained. "We can request a stay, a delay, in proceedings until you return from deployment. This gives us time to build your case and prevents a default judgment. But Marcus, you need to understand something. Your wife has already created the narrative. You're the absent father, the military husband who chose career over family, the man who wasn't there for soccer games and bedtime stories. That's not fair. I was deployed. I was serving. I know that. You know that. But in family court, perception matters. We need to counter that narrative. We need to show you're an engaged, loving father who wants to be present in your children's lives. We need documentation, emails you've sent, video calls you've made, letters, care packages, anything that demonstrates your connection to Emma and Tyler. Please subscribe if you want to see how Marcus fights back. This story gets even more intense in Chapter 2. Marcus spent every spare moment over the next 2 weeks compiling evidence, screenshots of hundreds of video calls, copies of emails he'd sent to the kids' teachers asking about their progress, receipts for care packages he'd mailed home, photos of drawings Emma and Tyler had sent him which he'd kept taped above his bunk. But the emotional toll was devastating. He couldn't eat. He'd lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. He couldn't sleep, lying awake in his bunk, staring at photos of his kids on his phone, wondering if they thought he'd abandoned them. During patrols, his mind wandered, which in a combat zone could be fatal. Jimmy Rodriguez became his lifeline. "You gotta eat something, brother," Jimmy said one evening, sitting down next to Marcus in the mess hall with 2 trays of food. "You're wasting away." "I'm not hungry. I don't care. Eat." Jimmy pushed a tray toward him. "You're no good to your kids dead, And you're no good to this unit if you're not mission ready. So eat. Marcus picked up a fork mechanically. Have you talked to Emma and Tyler? Jimmy asked. She won't let me. Jennifer screens all communication. My lawyer sent a formal demand that she allow regular contact, but she's claiming the kids are adjusting to their new environment and need space. Space from their father. That's parental alienation, man. Courts don't look kindly on that. Courts are 7 Zooern miles away, Jimmy, and I'm stuck here for 4 more months. Like this video if you think parents should never use children as weapons in a divorce, no matter what issues the adults have with each other. The breaking point came on November 3rd, when Marcus finally managed to get through to Emma on a video call. Jennifer had grudgingly allowed 15 minutes of supervised contact. Emma's face appeared on the screen, but she looked different, older, distant. "Hi, baby girl," Marcus said, fighting to keep his voice steady. "I miss you so much. How's school?" "It's fine." Emma's voice was flat. "Just fine. Are you making friends? Do you like your teacher?" "I guess." There was a painful silence. "Emma, sweetie, I know this is hard. I know you're upset about the move and everything that's happening. But I want you to know that Daddy loves you and Tyler more than anything in the world. I think about you every single day." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Then why did you leave us?" The question hit Marcus like a physical blow. "Baby, I didn't leave you. I'm deployed. I'm working. I'll be home in a few months. Mom says you care more about the army than about us. She says that's why she had to leave, because you're never there." Comment: if you've ever had someone you love turned against you by someone else's lies. How did you handle it? Marcus could hear Jennifer's voice in the background. "Emma, that's enough. Time's up." "Wait! Emma, please listen." The screen went black. Marcus sat in the empty communications tent, staring at his phone, tears streaming down his face. This was worse than any combat situation he'd ever faced. In combat, you could fight back, you could take action. But this invisible enemy that was poisoning his children against him while he was 7 miles away, he was helpless. That night, Marcus made a decision. He requested an emergency meeting with Captain Mills and the battalion chaplain, Major David Chen. "I need to request leave," Marcus said. "Emergency family leave. I need to go home and fight for my kids." Captain Mills exchanged glances with Chaplain Chen. "Sergeant, you know how difficult it is to grant mid-deployment leave unless there's... My wife has taken my children to another state, emptied our bank accounts, and is actively preventing me from having contact with them. She's telling them I abandoned them. Captain, I'm watching my relationship with my kids disintegrate in real time, and I can't do anything about it from here. If that's not an emergency, I don't know what is." Chaplain Chen spoke up. "Captain, I've been counseling Sergeant Wright. The emotional and psychological toll of this situation is severe. I'm concerned about his well-being and his ability to function effectively in a combat environment. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 2, where Marcus makes a decision that will change everything." Captain Mills was quiet for a long moment. "I'll submit the request up the chain," she finally said. "But Sergeant, I need you to understand that approval is not guaranteed. We're in an active combat zone. Personnel movements are restricted. Even in the best circumstances, it would take 2 to 3 weeks to process." "I understand, ma'am, but I have to try." Over the next 17 days, Marcus existed in a state of limbo. He continued his duties, patrolling, training, briefings, but part of him was already home, imagining the conversations he'd have with Emma and Tyler, the legal battles he'd fight, the way he'd prove to his children that he never abandoned them. His request for emergency leave moved slowly through the bureaucracy. Company commander, battalion commander, brigade commander, each level requiring justification and review. Meanwhile, Jennifer's attorney sent a formal proposal for the divorce settlement. Jennifer would have primary physical custody of both children, with Marcus receiving visitation at mutually agreed upon times. She wanted 60% of all marital assets, plus two $800 per month in child support and one $500 per month in spousal maintenance. She also wanted Marcus to maintain life insurance with her as beneficiary for the benefit of the minor children. Thomas Brennan called it outrageous and a starting point for negotiation, but to Marcus, it felt like someone had put a price tag on his family and found him guilty of crimes he didn't commit. On November 20th, Captain Mills called him into her office. "Your leave request has been approved, Sergeant. You'll be on a transport to Bagram tomorrow, then on to Ramstein, and finally back to the States. You have 21 days of emergency leave." Marcus felt his knees weaken. "Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much." "Don't thank me yet. 21 days isn't much time to handle a situation this complex. Use every minute wisely, and Sergeant, come back ready to finish your deployment. Your unit needs you. Smash that subscribe button if you're rooting for Marcus." Chapter 2 shows his battle on the home front, and it's going to blow your mind. That night, as Marcus packed his few personal belongings, Jimmy Rodriguez sat on the adjacent bunk. "You're gonna fix this, brother. I know you are." "I don't even know where to start, Jimmy. I haven't seen my kids in 8 months. Jennifer's poisoned them against me. I'm broke. I'm fighting a legal battle in a state where I don't even live." "You start by showing up, by being there, by proving to Emma and Tyler that you didn't abandon them, no matter what their mother says. Kids are smart, Marcus. They'll figure out the truth eventually." "What if eventually is too late?" Jimmy gripped his shoulder. "Then you make sure it's not. You're a fighter, Marcus. You've survived 3 combat deployments. You can survive this too." As the C-130 transport lifted off from Bagram Air Base the next afternoon, carrying Marcus away from the war zone and toward a different kind of battle, he stared out the small window at the Afghan mountains disappearing below. He thought about the email that had started all of this. The cold, calculated words Jennifer had chosen, the way she'd destroyed their family with the same efficiency she'd once used to organize their household. But mostly, he thought about Emma's question. "Why did you leave us?" Marcus pressed his forehead against the cold window and whispered a promise to himself and to his children. "I'm coming home, and I'm going to fight for you with everything I have."